Hi, my name's Anton Hoffman, and I'm a veterinarian, and I'm also a clinical professor in the Department of Veterinary Integrated Biosciences. I've actually been here at Texas A&M University primarily teaching since, 1987, so a while. How did I get interested in veterinary medicine? To be honest with you, when I was a freshman in high school maybe, my career goal was not veterinary medicine. It wasn't science at all. I actually wanted to be a lead guitar player in a hard rock band. That was my career goal. But fortunately, I had some really great teachers in high school, a biology teacher and a chemistry teacher specifically. And by the end of my sophomore year, I found that I had a good knack, so to speak, with science. Math, not so much, but definitely biology and chemistry and physics and some of the tougher science courses. I had really great teachers that were enthusiastic about what they taught, and they motivated me to try to do really well in those subjects. And I found, like I said earlier, I was kind of good at it, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed learning how the human body worked, how the animal body worked. I enjoyed learning chemistry down at the molecular level. But still, I wasn't really thinking about veterinary medicine. But then the summer after my sophomore year, I got the opportunity. I grew up in Victoria, Texas, by the way, which is a fairly small town north of Corpus Christi. But we had a small zoo, and I had an opportunity to actually work as a cashier at the concession stand at the zoo, so nothing really to do with animals. But there was one veterinarian, a local veterinarian, that was the zoo veterinarian for that zoo, and he came by usually once or twice a week, and I found that I tried to find excuses to get someone to take my place at the cash register so I could follow the veterinarian around. And within short order, probably a year working part-time at the zoo, I was intrigued by veterinary medicine and what veterinarians did and how they handled the animals. I was also really interested in the zookeepers and the animal husbandry aspect of it. And so it just kind of all came together. By the time I was a senior in high school, I knew that I was good at chemistry, physics, biology, the sciences. I enjoyed those courses, and I found I had a love for animals and treating animals and trying to figure out how they work. And so whenever I graduated high school, that was my career goal, was to become a veterinarian. And then I was fortunate enough to gain entrance here at the College of Veterinary Medicine at Texas A&M, and I started in 1982 and graduated in 1986. Obviously, I am a professor here at the veterinary school. I'm a clinical professor, which means I primarily teach. I don't do a whole lot of research. I do a little bit of collaboration with some of the surgical faculty, both in small and large animal. But my primary focus is teaching. How did I get interested in teaching? That's a really good question. After I graduated in 1986 with my doctorate in veterinary medicine, I did go into private practice. I was in a small animal practice, actually two practices in North San Antonio. It was small animal exclusive, and I enjoyed it, but to be honest, there was just something missing. It wasn't that it was boring, although some days could be kind of, monotonous, but just something was missing. And I recall back when I was in veterinary school, typically, actually it was around third or fourth year, that in small study groups I found I had a knack for explaining things to my classmates, and so I would always be drawing diagrams, drawing pictures, trying to explain things to my classmates, and they would explain things to me as well. But I enjoyed that. I really got turned on, so to speak, by helping others understand something that they didn't understand. And so one thing led to another. It was about the end of my second year in private practice, and I was just flipping through my JAVMA journal one day, and I saw that they were looking for a postgraduate position in what was then the Department of Veterinary Anatomy. And so I called my old anatomy professor, Dr. Gerald Bratton, who at that time was department head, and asked if I could apply for that position, and he encouraged me, and one thing led to another, and I left private practice and came back here to graduate school. I think I started in 1988 and finished up a PhD in 92 rather, and assumed a position here on the faculty, and have been teaching ever since. And teaching is truly my passion. It's my love. It's a great joy to get to see 130 to 140 brand new people every fall that are excited about veterinary medicine and helping them try to learn something about anatomy. When I was in private practice, like I said earlier, I was in San Antonio, Texas, and there were actually several veterinarians in the area. And I was fortunate enough when I was in 4th year in veterinary school to take 2 rotations through the ophthalmology service, which is the study of eyes and how they work and the diseases of the eye and how we treat them. And again, I found I had a knack for it. I was good at it. I enjoyed it. But what I didn't realize when I was in veterinary school is, to be perfectly honest, most veterinarians are a little bit scared of working on eyes. And a lot of veterinarians don't like to work on eye cases, and I enjoyed working on eyes, and so I kind of got the reputation in pretty short order in the area of San Antonio that we were at, that I was the eye guy, even though I wasn't, specialized in ophthalmology. A lot of the veterinarians in our area would refer their eye patients to me, and so I really spent a lot of time with eyes and treating and examining animals that had eye conditions. If you're thinking that you might want to be a veterinarian, or you're interested in the field of veterinary medicine, there's a lot of things you can do to get ready for that, to get exposure to veterinary medicine and prepare for a potential future career in veterinary medicine. There's no one exact right way. If it was, everybody would do it. But I would sure suggest pretty early on, and even if you're in middle school or early in high school, try to get your foot in the door of a veterinarian's practice, the veterinary hospital. And I know it can be hard, and a lot of times veterinarians don't want to hire younger people, but persistence pays off, and just realize that you're not necessarily going to get paid, so volunteer. Maybe it's just helping clean water bowls, or clean glassware, things of that sort, or cleaning out cages, walking dogs, taking them out to potty, things of that sort. And maybe you just volunteer for an hour after school, or a couple hours on a Saturday or something like that. But just get in the practice, and that way you can kind of see what it is that the veterinarian does. I think it's real important, because it all sounds really cool, being an animal doctor. Everybody thinks it's all about puppies and kittens, and a lot of it is. But there's also some parts of veterinary medicine that aren't quite as glamorous, and so I think it's really important that you get to see a lot of what veterinary medicine is like, and what it is that veterinarians do every day. So I definitely would suggest that. Also, it'd be my advice to try to develop your science skills in your coursework, in your classes. And I know in middle school you have some basic science courses and some math courses, but as you get into high school, a lot of times you get the opportunity to kind of custom tailor the classes that you take. And so I really, really recommend that you take as many science courses as you can, biology courses, advanced biology courses, some of the heavier quote-unquote science courses like chemistry, physics, and even mathematics. The math courses can be fairly important too, so like advanced algebra, calculus, things of that sort, or pre-cal or calculus. And try to get good at it. Try to learn how to develop really good study skills. Try to get good grades. It's not all about grades, but grades are somewhat important. But all good grades do is they tell you and they tell us that you've learned how to manage your time, how to study, how to master a large amount of material or information, which is eventually one day what you're going to be doing as a veterinary student, because before being a veterinarian you have to go to veterinary school. And to get into veterinary school, as I'm sure that a lot of you know, it's a challenge. It's very, very competitive, and it's not all based on grades, but a significant portion is based upon grades. And so getting that preparation as early as middle school, and definitely early into high school, and definitely later in high school, get that preparation so that you can get into the college hopefully that you want to get into. And then when you get in college, major in whatever interests you. You don't have to do a biomedical science undergraduate major. You can go biology, you can go zoology. We have wildlife and fisheries. Some people go animal science. So there's a lot of different undergraduate majors you can take to get your prerequisite courses in. But definitely get your foot in the door of a veterinary practice. Get to know your veterinarian. Let him get to know you. You'll learn a tremendous amount by doing that. And it'll help you decide if that's really what you want to do. And you may find out that isn't what you want to do. Maybe you want to go into nursing, or maybe you want to go into human medicine. But that's the time to find out, is early on in middle school and high school.